Hello friends, Charlie Murphy here. Thank you for choosing my video. Today I'm playing a session of 2-5 No Limit 6 Max games on Ignition. They're up and running already, so we'll jump right into the action. On table 2, I isolated a recreational player limper out of the big blind with ace-queen, put in a small range bet on the queen-jack-deuce two-tone board. Turn is the 9. I've got good removal to the nuts, and I've got the Broadway draw as well. As long as the overcard, I'm going to go ahead and keep barreling this. I'll bet half pot on the turn. Look to follow through on the river if I brick out. Probably jam if I spike my 10. Table 3, opening king 8 suited from middle position. Table 2, opening ace 6 from the button. Table 2, the recreational player, small blind player, comes along for a call. I'm going to go ahead and put in a small range bet on the queen 10-5 two-tone board. Table 1, opening ace 10 from the cutoff. Table 2, I turn third pair of 6. That's got some bluff catch potential. I'm going to go ahead and keep the pot smaller, check that one back. Table 1, I'll go ahead and range bet small. I do have top pair second kicker on the 8-4-3 two-tone board. I'm going to just try to show down my 6 over here. Lose against the 10 if I don't know I'm folding the 10 out. Not much merit in trying to bluff him off the 10 when I hold the 6. Table 1, big blind calls. I'll range bet him small on the Jack 10-5 two-tone board. Table 2, the recreational player, presumed rec on a short stack. He calls the small bet, then leads for 2/3, 3/4 on the 7 turn. I still have top pair. I'll be coming along for the call. I get check raised on table 1, and I'll fold my mid pair against that. Table 2, I opened ace queen suited from middle position. Good river for me on table 3 in that I've got trips second kicker. I mean, I can be against a better 8. I could be against ace 8 or some kind of full house, or the straight also got there. But this guy's a fish. I feel like he can pay me off with worse 8s or even some hands worse than trips. And it's less than a pot size bet left all into jam. I want to try to stack these guys when I got the chance, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and ship all in here. Table 4, I'll open 8-6 suited, blind on blind. Table 1, I got a 2.5x open from the button, and I'm in the big blind with 7-4 suited. I'll go ahead and defend for a call. And he did make the straight, which is unfortunate, but I'm trying to stack these guys, so. I'll open king 10 from under the gun on table 3. Table 4, I'll check range. I do have the second nuts on the 10-9-7 two-tone board. Be looking to try to check raise that. He does stab pretty large. I'll go ahead and put in my check raise. Table 3, the recreational player leads for half pot into 2 guys. I'm going to go ahead and just fold my overcards here, multi-way. My check raise got called blind on blind. Not an ideal card on the turn as that queen jack now gets there. However, I've still got a very strong hand, especially blind on blind. I'm going to keep blasting away with it. River is the ace, does make a backdoor flush draw in there as well, which is not ideal. I just think there's no other move other than trying to get value here. I'm just going to go ahead and ship it in. He snaps me with Queen 8, having ran out the backdoor flush draw. Easy game for these guys. Table 2, blind on blind. Gonna open Ace Queen suited. We'll check range to the recreational player in the big blind on the 6-4-4 two-tone board. Flop checks through. I'm going to go ahead and jab at that turn small there. He calls. River is a 4 straight. I'm just going to turn this hand into a bluff here now. Try to fold him off weaker pairs. Doesn't work. His 7 is a pair and he calls down. And they continue abusing me like a red-headed stepchild. Table 2, or table 4 rather, opening King Jack from middle position. Table 4, open King Queen from under the gun. Table 3, got a 2.2x open from middle position, and recreational player comes along in the small blind. Just go ahead and defend this for a call. Table 4, get 3-bet in position. I'll go ahead and fold the King Queen. And my 7 high with some back doors facing the lead from the wreck. I'll just go ahead and fold it. Get a min-raise blind on blind. We'll defend with all sorts of hands, including pocket 4s. Great flop for 4s, 5-4 deuce rainbow. He goes ahead and he blasts 3 to 4. I'll defend for a call against the larger size. We'll consider maybe raising against a smaller size. Table 3, got a limper on the button. I'll go ahead and complete the small blind with King 7 suited. He bets 2 into 950. That's not going to stand here. We're going to go ahead and raise that up. Just repot it. See if we can't get some action here. Get some money in that pot and set myself up to win a big pot on the river if he continues with some kind of straight draw, trips. Open Queen 10 from the button on table 3. Lost the recreational player on that table. Get a 6-7-4 two-tone board. That's not the kind of board I want to range, but I'm going to use the larger size on this board, more like 2/3. We check back some strong ace high or some middling pairs. Let's see that most of the other cards. Get check raised even against the larger size. I'll gladly fold my queen high versus that. Table 1, opening pocket 10s from the cutoff. I'm getting 3-bet by the big blind. We can go ahead and defend this for a call. Pretty good board for 10s. 7-4-3 two-tone. If he checks, I will be stabbing. Stabbing for half pot. I'm going to take it down. Table 2, gonna open ace-7 blind on blind. Check range to the big blind on the Jack 6-5 two-tone board. Goes ahead and stabs small. I will go ahead and fold. A 3x open from the cutoff on table 2. I'm in the button with pocket 4s. That's a little bit too light to be 3-betting. Just go ahead and fold it. Table 2, opening Jack 9 suited under the gun. Get called on the button. Check range to the in-position player on the King Jack 7 two-tone board. Checks back. Turn is the ace of clubs, so I'm going to go ahead and probe that turn small with my gut shot. Look to follow through on the river if I brick out. Do brick out. Continue bluffing. And get raised. With Jack high, nothing to do but fold. Table 3, opening ace-6, blind on blind. Check range on the flop. Table 2, we're facing a 2.2x open from the under the gun player. The big blind with queen 10, we can defend against that size. Table 3, we can go ahead and start jabbing at the turn small. And I'm going to continue following through as a bluff against the recreational player here with my weak ace high. Table 2, opening queen jack, blind on blind. Table 4, opening king queen from middle position. Table 1, defend the 3x blind on blind open with 10-9. In table 3, get a 2.5x open from the middle position player. Pocket 7s, I just go ahead and... Well, actually, that's effectively the cutoff. These other guys out of there. I can go ahead and put in that 3-bet. Table 2 will open king 6 suited from the button. Table 1, gonna open Ace Jack suited from the button. Before I get a recreational player limps the button, I'll complete the small blind with Ace 4. Check range on the flop. Flop checks around. I'm going to go ahead and probe the turn small. Table 1 got top pair strong kicker on Ace 4 3 rainbow. I'm going to go ahead and put in a small range bet. Turn jab got raised on table 4, so I'll get out the way. Table 1, I'm going to open King Queen from the cutoff. Table 4 facing a 3x open from under the gun. I'll go ahead and put in a re-raise with pocket 10s in the cutoff. Table 1 will open kings under the gun. Table 4 have a rec limp under the gun. Jack 10 in middle position is just too loose to isolate with though, so I'll go ahead and pitch that one. Get a 2.2x open on table 1. I'll go ahead and 3-bet out of the small blind with ace king suited. Got called, get an ace queen 3 rainbow board. I'll go ahead and put in a small range bet. I have top pair top kicker and a backdoor nut flush draw. Pretty good flop for my hand. Though I am a little bit worried about ace queen to some extent, but table 3 gonna open king 7 suited from middle position. Table 3, gonna open Ace-Jack suited from under the gun. Table 2, got a 2.5x open from the button. I'm in the big blind with King-Jack. I'll defend that for a call. Check range on the flop. Table 3 or 4 facing a 3x open from the button. We'll defend that with 6-7 suited. This time we'll use a 3-bet out of the big blind. Got a small bet there. I'm going to go ahead and put in a check raise with my gut shot. Like attacking those small bets if I have some kind of equity. Table 2, opening 7-6 suited from the button. Table 2, my button open faces a small blind 3-bet. Can defend in this loose formation with 7-6 suited for sure. He hasn't 3-bet yet, but doesn't mean anything through 2 orbits. Table 4, gonna isolate the small blind, limper blind on blind, pop him up with Jack 10. He folds out. Table 2, flop pretty strong, 2 pair on 7-6-5. I've got top 2. He checks to me, I'll be stabbing. Face a half pot bet. I will obviously continue with my 2 pair. Lousy turn card there as it puts 4 to the straight on the board with that 9. Be looking to check this back. River is a king. Table 4 on the button with Jack 4 suited. That one could go either way. I'm going to fold it. He goes and bets 1/3 pot. I'm obviously not folding versus that. When I could be bluff jamming there a lot. I think this is probably a little bit slim to try to bluff or raise it, though. I'm just going to look it up for a call. Against a set. Huge trouble on that flop and had no idea. Table 4, a recreational player min raises from middle position. I'll 3-bet him from the cutoff with King, Queen suited. The Rick calls the 3-bet, then leads for a 1/4 pot on 8-8-3 rainbow. I've got King Queen high with the backdoor flush draw. I will float that small bet. Good turn card for me, peeling that queen. I think I probably want to check this back though, as there's not a whole lot of stuff that can actually be calling my bets. He goes ahead and bets, 40% of pot, 10 into 25. I'll go ahead and call with my strong top pair. Now he goes ahead and jams all in on the river. That is interesting. I just don't really give him a ton of credit here for having an 8 that's being played that way. Line's about neutral, maybe slightly under bluffed. These dry paired flops tend to get to be a bit more bluffy. The small flop and turn bets get to be a bit more bluffy. I am calling here. And he's got air, ace-9 offsuit. Table 2, opening King-6 suited from middle position. Table 1, got a 3x open from the button. I'll 3-bet from my small blind with King Queen. Big blind comes along and cold calls. Suspected recreational player based on that action. The RFI player comes along for the call as well. Check range out of position to a couple of players. Table 4, get a 3x open from the button. I'm in the big blind with Queen Jack suited. Gonna go ahead and put in a 3-bet. Flop checked around on that 9-5 deuce rainbow board. Turn is the Queen of Spades, giving me top pair second kicker. I'm gonna go ahead and lead the turn small. Got a fold from the big blind player. Heads up on table 1, suspected wreck, open limps the button. I'll check in with ace 4. Checks through. I'm going to go ahead and min stab the turn here after the flop check. And I take that pot down. Heads up on table 1, open king 8 suited. He comes along for a call. We get a 5 deuce deuce rainbow board. He checks. Go ahead and range bet him small. Comes along for the call. Turn is an offsuit jack. Kings or eights are great great cards to bluff catch on, or perhaps even value bet. I don't really draw to anything terribly strong. I think I'm content to check this back and evaluate the river, keep the pot smaller with my air holding. He goes and he bets. It looks like he hits the 3/4 of pot button there on the flop, on that on the river there, on that flush closing river. I think that's a little too big of a bet size to bluff raise against. Can't bluff catch with king high. I'll just go ahead and fold. He limps. I'll check in with king 6. Check range on the flop. He checks back. I'll stab the king turn small. I've got weak top pair. We'll open 5-4 suited. Heads up on table 1. Get an ace 6-5 two-tone board. We'll go ahead and, or rainbow monotone board rather, go ahead and put in a small range bet. Wants to be checking back turns. River is that 4 flush board. I am going to turn my weak pair into a bluff on the 4 flush run out. Try to fold out a 6, some kind of ace. I'm not going to fold out the flush though. He open limps. I'll check in with jack 4. Check on the flop. Get a queen 4 ace board. Not really much sense in betting here other than to deny some equity. I'll just go ahead and check that and check fold. Table 2 going to open queen 10 from the cutoff. Table 1 going to open 3 deuce suited heads up. Get a jack 10 deuce rainbow board. I'll range bet small if he checks. He does, so I do. Start shelling more money in if I pick up 2 pair of trips. Checking back otherwise. Table 1, get a king queen 3 two-tone board. I'll range bet him small. In table 1, he actually opens for 3x here. I'll fold my 10 deuce suited. He hasn't raised anything yet. Table 2, we get a board pairing king on the turn. I will check back my second pair. Not very vulnerable except against aces, or I guess some clubs, though I do block a club. Could induce bluffs from his stuff that whiffs. Table 1, I'll raise queen 5 suited, heads up. Get a 3 deuce deuce two-tone board. He checks. I'll go ahead and put in a small bet. Table 3, he checks the river again. I've got sort of a 3-pair type hand. I think I want to try to get value here from ace high, mid pairs, that kind of stuff. I guess jack 10 could have been a straight draw that now there's there. Jack 10, 10, 9, could call. Table 1, I got a flush closing turn, the 10 of diamonds. Not much going for this hand, so I'll check it back. He blasts the river for pot, and I will fold. Check in against the limp with 9-4 on table 1. Table 2, blind on blind. I checked in against the limp with queen 5, and I stabbed for half pot on jack 8-8 against the check. He bets 3/4. I'm going to check call once with second pair here. Nice card for me, the 9. Great river card also, flush closing river. I'm going to go ahead and try to get value. I'm not going to go for a check raise against a fish that seems a little passive. Just going to go ahead and bet. Try to get called down. he has a flush, I'm probably getting raised anyway. He had ace-5, so I got value from the 5 that I probably wouldn't have got had I checked. Trying to get a check raise. We'll open kings heads up on table 1. Get a jack 9-6 rainbow board. I'll go ahead and put in that small range bet. And quickly folds. Heads up on table 1, open an ace-deuce. He clicks it back from 2.5 to 5. I will defend even a weak hand like ace-deuce, looking to flop something real strong and shady. Get a king 10-9 two-tone board. He checks, I'll just check back. Continue checking. He bets for half pot, and I'll just go ahead and fold. Table 3, opening ace-10 from the button. Table 1 will check in against the limp with queen 3, check on the flop. Checks, I'm going to go ahead and just stab for the minimum on the turn with my weak pair. Let's see here. He's so passive I can probably show this down against busted draws. I'm just going to check and try to show it down, otherwise be giving up. It works somehow. Table 3, we get called by both blinds, got a monotone flop, jack 6-4. I do have the cash card, ace of clubs in my hand. I'm going to go ahead and put in a small bet there with that. Face a small raise from a fishy player, just going to go ahead and defend that. I get a 3x open from the loose passive player heads up. I'll just defend for a call with king 9. No need to raise a guy that's been that tight passive. I'll just go ahead and fold my king high against the half pot bet on the ace-5 board. Table 3, I peeled an ace. I'm going to go ahead and check back, so I'm really not scared of any rivers. I don't want to sort of get check raised again. You could have some kind of jack X type hand that now I outdrew. Now when he goes and blasts for pot, I'm going to give the fishy player credit for having a strong hand, especially on the monotone board. I'm just going to fold that one out. I'm going to open ace-9, heads up here on table 1. Checked in the king 4, got a queen 10-9 rainbow board. At the gut shot, no real reason to check raise this guy here. Just go ahead and fold it because he's been so passive. We'll open 10s heads up on table 1. Comes along for a call. We get a 6-6-4 rainbow board. Go ahead and put in that small range bet. Comes along for the call. Turn is the 4, a double pairing board. I'd rather check this back. The 6s and 4s that make up a lot of his flop calling range now have me beat. Go ahead and check this back. See if we can get some value from ace high on the river if he checks again. He does, so I'm going to try to value bet him now. I get raised, of course am going to turbo muck this against a passive fishy type. But I snuck some value in there in the bet check bet line against ace jack. He limps, I'll check in with jack 6, check range on the flop. Checks back, turn is a 6, I'll go ahead and jab the turn small. He calls, river is a jack, giving me 2 pair. I'm going to go ahead and try to value bet that. Table 3, opening queens under the gun. Table 4, opening 8s under the gun. Table 1 heads up, opening ace-7. Getting 9-5-5 two-tone board, I'll go ahead and put in the small range bet, heads up. Queens, we go 4-handed, get called by 2 in-position players and the big blind. I'll check range, especially on that nasty 6-5-4 two-tone board. Checks through. Turn is a 6. Not that bad a card. A lot of 6s would have bet that flop, thinking it's got top pair. A fishy player leads for half pot. I'm going to go ahead and put in a raise with my queens to try to force everybody out, deny some equity from the draws, or get some value. As opposed to calling and risking being squeezed behind or having all these other guys call with all sorts of potential draws when pretty much every card for me is bad. I think I want to try to take control of this hand right here, right now. And everyone else folds, including the leading player. Get a 3x open heads up. I'll defend for a call with 6-4 suited. Get a ace-9-5 two-tone board, and I do have the flush draw. I'm going to go ahead and check call my weak flush draw. I turn the flush draw right there on that deuce of spades. He continues betting. He bets half pot. Against most players, I would continue check calling here. I think he's going to slow down with his bluffs or his aces on the river. A lot of cards could be bad for me, but however, he may get a little bit sticky with an ace-type hand here, so I think I want to go ahead and put in a check raise. He calls. Pretty blank river. I've got the flush here. Got about a pot-sized bet left behind. I'm going to go ahead and try to stack him. Hope he gets too sticky with an ace. He doesn't, but I at least pick up the turn bet and pick up another decent little pot. Heads up, I will open aces. Got some other players chiming in, so I want to get while the getting is good. Fish calls me, 9-7-3 rainbow. I go ahead and put in the small range bet. We're now three-handed on table one. I'm opening queen jack. Get called out of the small blind by the recreational player. Get a 10-5 deuce two-tone board. Going to go ahead and put in that small range bet. Do have overcards, some backdoor straight draws. Table 1, blind on blind, facing a 3x open. I will defend with 8-4 suited and go to the flop. Table 3, opening king 10 from middle position. Getting calls galore on that table 3. All in position players called. Get a queen 7-3 rainbow board. I'm going to check range to all the in position guys. On table 1, get a king 9-4 two-tone board. Gives me bottom pair and the flush draw. I'm going to go ahead and stab for half pot here against that check. So I've got a weak pair with some degree of showdown value and a weak flush draw. I think those are all going to play better in the check back line, keeping the pot a bit smaller. So check back is what I go for. Got a river 7. And he goes ahead and overbets into me. I think it's just going to be a pretty trivial fold there, especially against the size up. Table 4, we're going to open blind on blind with ace queen. Table 1, opening blind on blind with ace 4. Table 4, opening pocket 8s on the button. We'll check range on that ace 8-3 two-tone board. He stabs for half pot. I'll check call up my weak top pair. Continue checking. Turned a great card for me, the 4. I now have aces up. I think I want to go ahead and again check raise this guy on the turn. Try to get the money all in against an ace, which I now have reverse dominated. Table 4, we range bet small on the King 9-5 monotone board. I've got 8-8 with the 8 of clubs. Got an offsuit 6. I'm going to go ahead and check back my gut shot, my middle pair, my kind of middling flush draw. Turn bet got called. River's pretty blank, doesn't close any straights or flushes. Going to go ahead and jam all in for about 2/3 of pot with my aces up. And I take that one down uncontested. I'm facing the 2x river bet over there with my pocket 8s on table 4, and I think that's going to be a pretty trivial fold. Get a 3x open from a guy who's a little bit short. Blind down blind will defend for king 10. Up top pair and king queen 9. Monotone, I will stab for half pot. Comes along for the call. Great turn card for me, giving me trips to go with my 10 kicker and the gut shot. I'm continue betting using the half pot size here. Now we have a blankety blank river. I think it's going to be okay to try to value bet this, try to get called by a queen X type hand or a weaker king. Do get that third street of value in there. That makes me happy. It was against pocket aces. Table 1, opening 10-9 from the button. Table 1, opening ace-jack from the button. Table 2, opened ace-jack from the button. I face a small 3-bet from the small blind, about a 3.5x 3-bet. Can actually defend ace-jack for a call against that small size. Probably use ace-10 as my bluff and stack off with queens plus ace-king after a 4-bet. Check, so I'm going to go ahead and check back my ace-jack on the king-deuce-deuce monotone board. Interesting turn card for me, the 10 of diamonds, which gives me the gut shot to Broadway as well as the nut flush blocker. I'm going to continue checking back. I suppose there's some merit in stabbing. I'm just going to take my short on the paired board with ace high. End up chopping with ace queen. Table 1 got a 3x open from the button. I'm in the big blind with jack 9. It's a little bit too weak to defend. I will go ahead and pitch it. Small blind with ace-jack suited facing a 2.2x open from middle position and a call behind. I am going to go ahead and put in that squeeze. Table 4, 2.5x open from the button. I will defend with 10-5 suited. Check range in the flop. Table 1, I opened 5s from middle position. Got called by the big blind. Flop gin, jack 5-5, two-tone quad 5s. I'll go ahead and put in that small range bet. Table 2 on jack, or 4 rather, on jack, jack, deuce, rainbow. I'll just go ahead and fold my 10 high backdoor flush draw. My quad 5s faces a check raise. Doesn't get much better than that. I'll go ahead and defend for a call. He goes ahead and checks back. This hand does not really worry about any possible runouts we might face. Want to get some money in there. If I go half pot, that'll give me about 40 with about 80 behind on the river. We'll go half pot. Table 3, opening king-jack from the cutoff. Get a 2.5x open from the cutoff on table 2. I'm going to defend my big blind with queen 6 suited. Check range on the flop. Face a small bet there. I do have a decent backdoor flush draw. Decide if I want to check raise it or not. I think I'll fold it. Maybe some argument for check raising that. Really don't know anything about this player as of yet. The small size you can usually attack on the flop, but not quite sure what I want to do with that hand and the various turn and river cards. Table 3, got a recreational player, limps blind on blind. I'll check in with Jack 3. Could also raise it, Jack 3 suited. I think checking in is going to be fine. It's probably pretty close. He checks to me on the Ace Queen 10 two-tone board. I've got the gut shot and the flush draw. I will, however, stab at that for the minimum, about half pot. Table 4, we're going to open Jack 9 suited from middle position. Now, let's see here. He comes along for a check call. Turn is a 10. I still have plenty of equity. I'm going to go ahead and keep betting here with my combo draw. Check calls. I want to showdown Jack high. I'm going to go ahead and fire the third barrel here. I don't think it's a real profitable, but I do think it's better than checking. And I got it through. Table 1, upper left-hand table, going to defend a 2.5x button open from my big blind with 8-7. And the rec that I was playing at that table just left. It's been about time for me to shut down. I'm going to go ahead and start moving my tables towards closing when the orbits come around again. Face a small bet on the Jack 7-3 rainbow. I've got middle pair. I'll go ahead and check call that and check the turn. Lower left-hand table, get a 3x open from middle position. Recreational player calls on the button. I'm in the small blind with pocket tens, and I am going to be popping that up. Second barrel on the first table, or yeah, table 1, upper left-hand table. I'll go ahead and fold my middle pair at that point. I think I'd rather continue with cards that, should I hit my kicker for 2-pair, don't make any real strong hands, like straights or better 2-pair combos. I'm a little worried about running into straights if I pair my 8 there. Table 3, opening Ace-6 suited from middle position. Table 3, opening 8s from under the gun. Table 1, opening Queen-Jack suited from the button. Table 3, we get a 7-4-3 rainbow board. I've got pocket 8s, face a min bet. Going to ignore that, treat it like a fancy check. I'm not going to go ahead and range bet small on this board. I'm going to go ahead and use more like a 2/3 type sizing. Pocket 8's an ideal candidate to play that way. Face a 3x open under the gun on table 1. 8's a little bit too weak to be 3-betting there. I'll go ahead and fold it. It's pretty close. Let's see here. On the 7-4-3, we now have a 2-turn, putting the second flush draw up there. I'm going to continue betting with my overpair. I'm going to use the half pot size here. Don't want to be overbetting. You know, I'd be overbetting if I had like ace-5, 5-6 sets, things of that nature. Table 2, going to open Jack-Queen, Queen-Jack offsuit from middle position. Took it down pre-flop. Last hand, table 1, open ace-8 suited from under the gun. Big blind comes along, flop the nut flush draw, queen 7-3, two-tone. Gonna go ahead and range bet small. Face a check raise. I've got the overcard on the nut flush draw, so this is a fine hand to continue with against the check raise. Go along for the call. Turn the jack, didn't get there, at least not yet. I think I'll be checking back if he checks to me. He goes ahead and he blasts for an overbet. Slight overbet, about 110, 120% of pot. It's okay to fold against the overbet. If I had a little bit stronger draw, like flush draw with ace-king, ace-10, that kind of thing, I'd come along. But that's the last hand, so I'm going to shut it down for now. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Till next time, this is Charlie Murphy signing off.